Let's take a look at the representation of information using signals. What we're going to do here is to take a look at what the colonists might have done in signaling the intention of the British for Paul Revere's sake. That's the example that I used on the first 2 pages. You remember it went something like this: 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. And what we were talking about was lanterns here. But in this case, what I've got is not lanterns, but just dots, and I've colored them differently, green and then red. We might otherwise have had a lantern that was not lit and a lantern that was lit. But I think this may make the discussion a little bit simpler. Let's take a look at what's happening if both lanterns were off, that is, in the green. In Paul Revere's case, that meant the British Army was not on the move. They weren't coming. But if only one light was seen, they were coming by land. If 2 lights were seen, they were coming by sea. What you see here is not that signaling arrangement, though. What you see here is an arrangement that exhausts all the possibilities of 2 lanterns. They could both be off. This one could be on and that one off. This left one could be on and the right one off, or they both could be on. Now that's all the possible combinations of lanterns on and off. And you can see that we get 4 different possibilities. In fact, the way we compute that is this lantern could be in one of 2 conditions. This lantern could be in one of 2 conditions, on or off. So 2 times 2 equals 4. We don't actually have to go through all the combinations. We can simply make that computation. With 2 lanterns on or off, we can have 4 different signals. But there was a reason that the colonists didn't use an arrangement like this, and that was because at a distance, Paul Revere couldn't really distinguish which light was left and which light was right. At a distance, any one of them lit would have seemed like the same light. So they really had to do it something like Longfellow's poem, The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. 2 lanterns off, army wasn't coming. 1 lantern coming by land, 2 lanterns coming by sea. This signaling condition here wouldn't work in that case. However, when we talk about representing information with electrical charges or magnetized spots on some medium like a disk, or in the old days on a tape, when we use 2 bits, we do have the ability to use all 4 of these combinations. But in fact, 4 combinations isn't really very practical. We use more bits than that, as we'll see on the next page.